I would like to invite first Dr. Manish Chetli, Professor Head of LPD Department at Gadwasu, Ludhiana, to deliver his talk. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Kulkarni. Very good morning to all. At the outset, I want to thank Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Paturkar sir, and then the Dean of the College, Dr. Rana Day, and our Organizing Secretary, Dr. Jane Day. So I want to thank Dr. Prabhat Kumar, who is the chief guest of this function, and Dr. Amit Sharma, who was being a guest of honor in this. So I thank all of them, and further I want to thank the organizing secretary for inviting me to discuss my points on the hygienic requirements of animal-based food products. Can I share my screen, sir? Dr. Jende?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can share your. We have permitted you, sir.
Showing disabled.
Showing disabled. Just, sir. Wait.
So basically, I am going to discuss regarding the hygienic and safety requirements of the animal origin foods. Still, it is being disabled. As all of you know that India is being number one in the milk production. We are being producing around 187 million tons of the milk, and we are being producing 8.2 million tons of the meat. And apart from that, there is a high production of the eggs also. We are being producing 103 billion eggs annually. Such a huge animal products are being produced, and how it is being there. So this high quantity of the animal protein, which is being available.
Please, sir, please, you can share now.
Right, sir.
Just open your this one and share.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes. Coming up. Just hold on, sir.
Slide show, Vijay sir.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So is it visible?
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So as I was being discussing, the animal origin foods include three things. One is that the milk, meat, and the eggs. So I'm going to touch everything about that one. That how we can manage the hygienic practices in case of the meat, milk, and the egg industry also. So then this is my overview of the talk that today I'm going to discuss regarding the food hygienic and food safety. Basically, the organizers asked me to go to the basics. So no doubt the basics are the pillars of everything, and it's only lead to the progress. So my talk will be more useful for the students and the small entrepreneurs. Those are going to enter into this business and going to start over there. So as you know that the hygiene basically refers to the conditions and the practices that help to maintain health and prevent the spread of diseases. In general, the hygiene basically pertains to everything over there. If we consider it in relation to the food hygiene, it's basically includes the sanitary science. The basic aim is to produce the safe and the quality food. It starts from the farm to the fork. Means it includes the production chain also. Then there is a slaughtering, processing, means milk production, and the egg production chain. Then handling of by all the handlers at every step, at every chain step. Then distribution and the storage. That's a most important part of any animal-based food products, because the cold chain maintained. Animal-based food products are being high in nutrient, and so it's being a highly perishable food products. So maintenance of the cold chain is a most important in that case. So how that is being maintained, and then finally when it reaches to the consumer's table. So how whether it is still being safe, what are the mistakes can be done by the major important is that the consumer level, like the consumer should know which food product is a fresh and others. Like just now Dr. Prabhat told that one of his friend, because of its experience, know which fish is being fresh, which one is not being a old one or the stale fish, and he should able to differentiate between the frozen meat or maybe the other product. There is many times there is anathema is being there that the frozen meat is being a stale meat. It's not being true. So the differentiation is a next important thing. So all these aspects, all these guidelines related with these aspects are being a part of the food hygiene. It not only include public health aspects, the disease and the others which are being transmitted through it. It also includes the economics, and the most important is the aesthetic value. As you may be knowing, there is more than 3 lakh meat shops are being there in India, and majority of them are being so ill hygienically. And so as Dr. Amit Sharma just told that they are going to grade the meat shops for the hygienic grading also. So that's a very important step, so to encourage the meat shop owners and others to go for the hygienic practices and others. So food safety, basically that includes the provide assurance to the consumers that food will not cause any type of the harm to the consumers. That's the most important thing. It includes everything that prevents the foodborne illness and everything. It also includes the freshness of the food product. Nutritive value is being maintained throughout that one. Taste, original taste is being there. And most important is the authenticity of the food. Whether the food, because in case of the meat product, this is one of the major concern is being there. The people are being going for the adulteration and the falsification of the meat. So they are being asking for the chivon, and still it's being the mutton is being served to them like that. So many things are being happening over in this line. Plus there is adulteration, because as of once in the first step I told you that all these animal waste food products are being prone to the major problem, that's a spoilage and the disease causing organism. So how we can preserve it? The more we can preserve it by keeping it at a low temperature, where we can seize out the growth of the microorganisms. However, the maintenance of the cold chain is in a capital intensive process. We require to maintain the low temperature. We require refrigeration assemblies and everything. So that's a costly one. So what the people are doing, they are being putting up a small pinch of the chemical to extend its shelf life. And that small pinch of the chemical is being leading to lot many diseases, even up to the cancers. So how you can make out that, that's the most important. So food safety, why a growing concern? The most important, as in the morning itself, we are being discussing, because of the COVID constraints and others also, the people are getting a lot of awareness about the food and everything. It's no doubt it's been still being prevailing in the last so many centuries, but from the last few decades, it has been improved. The awareness regarding the food safety has been improved, especially in Indian conditions, because of the global trade. As meat, buffalo meat is one of the biggest commodity being traded amongst the agriculture produce, and we are being earning around 26,000 crore rupees annually out of the buffalo meat. So all this, when the buffalo meat is being moving to the 56 countries of India, including from the India, so it means you can imagine that the standards met out by the different developed nations like USA, Australia, and others, as well as to the African counterparts, all are being managed through these companies. Then food associated disease outbreaks, the foodborne illness are being increasing, like the bovine spongiform encephalitis, avian influenza, these are the big issues. Moreover, like initially there were being the rumors were being there that the COVID is being associated with the bat, or it's associated with the poultry meat. It is associated with the, even nowadays it's being the fish, which is being considered to be associated with the COVID. So a lot of issues are being arising on that one. Then the industrialization of the animal production, it's one of the biggest issue. Dr. Prabhat also highlighted this issue, that the people are using a lot of growth hormones and the other pesticides, as well as the antibiotics, which are being to increase the growth rate. Then what are the methods being used to raise the food? Whether clean milk production practices are being followed, clean meat production practices, clean egg production practices are being followed, the proper health checkup of the animal is being taken care, ante-mortem and the post-mortem examination is being taken care, hygienic slaughtering practices, animal welfare aspect, which is the most important. All the 5 pillars of the animal welfare are being taken care during the production of the animal food. That's the most important issue. Then transportation and storage. Maintenance, as I've already discussed, maintenance of the cold chain, the after effects of the processing, like high heat treatment processing, no doubt it's always improves the quality of the food products, but many of the times, like when we are going for a thermal treatment and others, it lead to the loss of the vitamins and the minerals also. So the proper thermal treatment or the other methods which can be appropriately adopted, that's also being important. Secondly, the achievement of the proper temperature during pasteurization process or maybe the sterilization process to kill all the pathogenic and the spillage organisms is also being a big important. And the major issue which is been coming up nowadays are the functional foods during the processing line. How these functional foods can be maintained with the legislations, because the people, everybody is being telling that this my food is a functional food, it has a high protein content and others, but still whether it has been properly being justified or not, that's a big issue. That this is a no doubt FSSI and the other agencies are being taking care on that, about the different regulations are being coming up, but it is in the pipeline. Then the packaging requirements and the handling issues are being there. Then the physical, chemical, and the microbiological quality is the next issue. What are the residues content? What are the different MRL levels are being there? Then apart from that, next is the bioengineered foods. You might have heard a lot of things that the meat is also being coming. Let's say cell culture meat and others. And so many other, even the animals which are the bioengineered animals, or the feed which is being given to the animals which is a bioengineered. So all these issues are being there. On all the basis, we have to go for the proper risk analysis, and then we can give our consent to whether it is being fit for the human consumption or not. And that should be the proper risk communication is the most important issue also. That the proper awareness of the consumer with the risk communication should be taken care. So if we see the emerging food safety issues, as I've already discussed you, that the authenticity is also being one of the big issue, and the traceability. When the processed product reaches to the consumer table, the sausages, salamis, or maybe the burger patties and everything, it should be traced back to the particular animal. Whether that animal is being properly being antenatal examination or is being done, where it is being slaughtered, what is the history of that one, that's the most important. Only when the traceability chain is being maintained, only then we can go for the recall of that food product. If any issue arises, any foodborne outbreak occurs over that, then the halal certification, it's a no doubt it's a religious matter and everything, but it's a one of the biggest market. Halal certified food products is more than 20 billion market presently, and it's been growing at the rate of around 11 to 12%. So then mycotoxins. And the most important nowadays, there are a lot of hue and cries being there regarding the antibiotic resistance problem. The antibiotic residues problems are being there, and that's leading to the antibiotic resistance into the consumers. Whether this has been properly being checked, your food product is being free from the antibiotic or not. So that's being the next being most important issues. And apart from that, there is still a lot of things are being happening. You are daily seeing in the newspapers world over how the things are being moving with respect to the food quality. I'm not talking about the India only, where there is always being a question mark on the food quality. I'm talking about even to the world over. The horse meat scandal, which has occurred in 2013 in the Europe, that has rocked the Europe like anything. Then in 2008, when the melamine toxicity has occurred in China in the milk product and milk powders, and more than 3 lakh kids were being fallen ill because of that. And then the Lactalis company in France, which has been basically their milk powder was being infected with a salmonella. That baby milk powder was being there, and they have to go for the recall from the 83 countries. They are being exporting their baby based milk powder to the 83 countries, and they have recalled it back. So the lot of issues are being rising with the storage line, or what is the storage life of the meat product. Recently, it was a news was being there that China, they have seized the meat product which is being older than the 40-year-old, whether that is being fit for the human consumption or not. Then bad eggs, another fake food scandal which has occurred, rocked the China, that the eggs has been dwelled with the resins and others. That's also being a big issue over there. Then the Fonterra poisoning issue, which has rocked the New Zealand, and then all the dairy plants of the, as you know, the Fonterra is one of the biggest company of the world. It's being on the second in, presently it is on the second in the world for the milk processing. So they have to lock down their all the plants in the New Zealand for almost more than 1.5 months, 45 days to 50 days. And after that, when they got in all the exemptions and everything, then only have gone for that. So such a big issues are being arising with the meat, milk, and the egg quality. It should be taken care under the food concern, especially the food safety issues also. And it's not only the food safety. Food safety is always being associated with the nutrition and the food security. They are being the interlinked. And animal protein, as you know, it has an highest biological value, and it's being consumed, like the milk is being consumed by the infants as well as the oldest man in the family. So it has a lot of concern over there. And more than 60% of the human pathogens, they are being basically being shared by the human, the animal source products as well as the human beings. So it's being one of the biggest issue, whether they are going to transmit any disease causing organism into the human beings, that should be properly being checked. Then the nutritive value, as I've already told, it's being rich in the proteins, fat, carbohydrates, and others, which are not only good for the nutrition, for the health of the consumers, but it's also being good for the growth and survival of the pathogens. So there are the more than 200 diseases, starting from simple diarrhea or enteric diseases to the cancers, which can be caused by the different food-based sources. So as per the WHO estimates, there is a more than 420,000 people die every year. No doubt, there is a lot many, much more than that, which are being unreported. Incidents are being happening with the outbreaks and everything, especially in the Indian conditions or the developing nations. So we are being losing more than 33 million healthy life years every year. So it's a food safety is one of the most important issue, and it should be taken care. And as I mentioned you, that the microorganisms, which are the most important with respect to their growth, pathogenic, or maybe the spoilage causing, from where it is being coming. It is coming from everywhere. It's starting from the soil and water to the air and dust, or maybe the handlers and everything. So when we ingest the microorganisms, food contaminated with the microorganisms or their toxins, it's going to create a disease or going to create a havoc, or the different problems will arise. So there is always being a stress is being given that should have a proper protection methods as well as the strategies to curtail the growth of these spoilage and the pathogenic microorganisms. And second important thing is the cross contamination. Keeping the raw food along with the cooked food product, or when there is not a clear cut demarcation between the clean and the unclean area. So there is a chances that the cross contamination may occur when you are keeping your cooked food product in a refrigerator with along with a lot many other products also. So there is a lot of probabilities being there that may lead to the transmission. Cross contamination may occur. So all these things should be taken care. Then apart from all that, Dr. Prabhat also discussed that the handler point of view is a most important one. How the handler is being handling the food products. It's not only the handler's knowledge, attitude, or the practices which are being followed by him. It's also being the health status of the handler, which is also being important. How he handle the food product, what are the safety norms he are being following, what are the precautions he are being taking. As in case of the COVID-19, it becomes a most important issue. Then there should be the proper screening of the COVID-19 patients. They should not go for any type of the food preparations or others. They should be properly screened out using the thermal screening methods or maybe the regular checkup. Plus, if there is any disease conditions or others are being there, that should be also being properly being checked out. There's lot many diseases which can be transmitted from the food handlers, and the most common one starting from the coliform, which are being there leading to diarrhea and dysentery and others also. That's a indicator of the fecal contamination, and it's coming from the hands only. The washing of the hands and the maintenance of the food hygiene area is a next important issue. So after highlighting all these points, I just want to put up regarding the meat hygiene aspects and others. Meat hygiene that starts from the farm level itself, even the health status of the animal, how the health status is being there, whether he has been fed properly, he's being free from the diseases. Then when it is being transported to the slaughterhouses, how the transportation stress is being there. There is a lot of transit tetany disease or the other disease, salmonellosis and other so many diseases may occur during the transportation. The maintenance of that, how we can free up the animals from the transportation stress. Then what are the practices being followed in a abattoir? As I already discussed, there is around 80 export-oriented units are being there in our country, which are being following all the standards laid down by the international agencies for the production of the meat and meat products. The majority of them are the 100% of them are the buffalo meat buffalo meat production units, and then other one we have around 121 poultry processing plants also, which are being producing the poultry meat and other stuff. Then apart from these two units, if we go apart, we can see there is around 3,500 slaughterhouses which are registered with the local bodies or the state regulatory agencies or the central regulatory agencies and others. So which may follow little bit regarding the hygienic practices. But apart from that, there is more than 30,000 which are unlicensed slaughterhouses are being existing and in the lanes and the sub lanes of the cities as well as even in the villages. So they are basically being a cause for the different diseases and others. The concept of the wet market in the world over, not only in India, in the world over, is also being a biggest cause for the food hygienic access. And the spread of the COVID-19 from the wet markets, it had made a big question mark on that issue. How the things can be managed in the wet markets, how the food is being handled in the wet markets, how the slaughtering practices are being followed, how the fluids coming out, including the blood from the slaughtered animals, how it is being handled. That is also being a big issue in case of the wet markets. So the care should be taken, how these wet markets should be managed, the proper strategies. As Dr. Amit Sharma was also been talking about, we have to make out the strategies, because there is a lot of wet markets are being existing, which are being on the roadside, are being there in the different cities. You can see that on the roadside meat markets are being there. They are being selling not only the poultry, even they are being selling the fish, pork, goat, all the food meat products are being sold even on a single shop. No doubt we cannot stop all these in a single stock. We have to make a strategy how we can improve them, how we can restrict them, how we can control them. So these are the most important issue which should be raised on that issue. Then next important is the solid and liquid waste disposal systems. There is no existing solid waste and the liquid waste system is being in all these 30,000 slaughterhouses, even to the 3,500 registered slaughterhouses are being there. There is no effluent treatment plant, there is no rendering units and others are not being there. It's being very rarely being seen. These rendering units or ETPs are being very rarely being seen. It's only limited to your high-end units of export-oriented units or others are being there, which under the pollution control category, they have to go. Belongs to Punjab. In Punjab, there is a 91 registered slaughterhouses are there. And out of these 91 registered slaughterhouses, only 3 have a rendering unit. I'm not talking about the 5 buffalo meat slaughter units which are existing, which are the 100% export oriented, and 5 poultry processing plants which are also working in the Punjab. Apart from these 10, the rest 91, they don't have any rendering unit. They don't have any ETP plants. Only 5 of them they have been there. That's also been coming up in the last 4 or 5 years only. So we have to look for on that aspect also. Then there is the veterinarians. They have been given a duty to go for the antemortem and the postmortem inspections. After proper antemortem and postmortem inspection, then they have to put up in a stamp on the meat or the carcass, that stamped meat should only be sent to the market for the sale. That's the most important. And many of the times you will find that that more than 80% of the meat being available on any butcher shop, that is being not having any stamped. That's not a stamped meat. That's been free from stamped and others, you can say. So either we have to look for that one, or we have to make our inspection process more stringent. Then next important thing is the storage of the meat. Wherever the meat is being stored, that should be fly proof, insect proof, and the carcasses should be stored less than 7 degrees centigrade, and the offals and others should be stored at 3 degrees centigrade. If you are going for a long term storage for anything, we have to keep our temperature range in a frozen condition, -18 to -20 degrees centigrade. That's the most important issue, how we have to maintain the cold chain. And a lot of schemes has been introduced by the Ministry of Food Processing as well as the APIDA and others regarding the cold chain maintenance. So we have to go for the awareness of our slaughterhouses as well as our butcher shop owners and others, that they should adopt these schemes and they should maintain the cold chain. Just I'm giving a simple touch to the milk hygiene and other issues also, because as the animal food product, it's also being important, and moreover we are being number one in the milk production, and we are being producing 187 million tons of the milk, and which is being consumed from the infant to the oldest person in the family because of its nutritive value. And more than, as you know, there's around 45% of the people are in India which are being totally vegetarian, and 65% are being those are being taking only the occasional meat. So milk is one of the biggest commodity which is being consumed by the almost all the consumers. So we have to look for its hygiene, its quality, and everything. And it's the biggest issue with always being there, the communicable zoonotic diseases which are being transmitted, and the milk adulteration. Only 2 slides to finish it up. For the milk, the different diseases which are being transmitted, there's a bovine tuberculosis, Mycobacterium tuberculosis is there, brucellosis is the other one, and the Q fever, anthrax, typhoid, cholera, enteropathic E. coli. All these diseases which can be transmitted through the raw milk and others, it should be taken care. That can be very easily can be taken care by simply putting up the things in by the following the essentials of the milk hygiene. Means the milk production should be always from the healthy and clean animal. We should follow the sanitary premises and milk sanitation properly. The milk should be free from dirt and contamination. Milking should always be carried out away from the herd. Milk handler, the health status as well as the cleanliness, and that's a next important issue. Milking room, the environment where the milking is being carried out, that should be properly cleaned, ventilated, and dustless. Utensil and the equipment should be properly clean. And then the washing of the teats and other, that's a dry washing is a preferable. And then you should also go for the maintenance of the cold chain at it. And simply by putting up the boiling system or the pasteurization process, we can go for the safety of the milk and milk product. But the next major issue is that the people usually, as majority of the milk, this around 80 to 82% of the milk being sold in the Indian market, that is being coming from that's unpasteurized milk. It is being coming through the unorganized sector and others. So you can imagine that their milk is being traveling to miles together without unpasteurization. I was just going through one incident that in 1971, even I was not even born at that time. Even many of you may not be born on that time. You might have that in US as well as in Canada, the law was being framed out that the milk cannot travel without pasteurization. So even in India, right now, even India, the milk is being traveling miles together without pasteurization, even in 2020. So that's also being a big issue. How the milk, whether the milk should be traveling without pasteurization, without maintenance of the cold chain, that's also should be taken care. If you see the fish, it's autolysis is the biggest problem with the fish. So especially if the fish is being grown in the contaminated water and others, the industrial chemicals which are coming, that's also giving the heavy metals. they get accumulated in the fish meal. They can add the fish scales, fish muscles, and others. They get contaminated with all these heavy metals, DDTs, and others. So that should be taken care. There's a lot of diseases which can be transmitted: Shigellosis, Salmonellosis, fish parasites, and there. So assessment of the fish quality is also being an issue. Thus, even the consumers should be made aware, as Dr. Prabhat told, that many of the consumers may know by their experiences, but still lot to be know. I just came to know that in one of my known fellow in Maharashtra, he has developed a app in which he has put up the lot of photographs of the fish which are being either being a stale or different stages which are being there, means the fresh, the stale after 1 day, or maybe 2 days, like that. He has placed a lot of photographs on that app, and then he has put up the description also. Once you click the photograph, then you can match the quality of that one, and you can have a little bit assessment. You have a quite assessment that whether the fish is being safe for consumption or not. That means that you are touching the consumer level itself. That's being the most important one. So how you can manage those things, that's also being a today's requirement. Food safety should reach to the your civil society, to the last all the stakeholders of the society. That's the big important thing. So how the fish can be is whether it's a fresh or not, that's being the gills should be bright, usually closed, and have no abnormal odor. It's a prominent eyes and a transparent cornea. Scale are being difficult to remove in the fresh fish, whereas in case of the old fish and other stale fish, it can be easily removed. Skin should, or the fish should be free from any type of the bad smell, malodorous smell, slime, and other things. And the carcass of the fresh body sinks in the water. So the different preservation of the fish also being carried out. If you see the poultry meat is being consumed highest in India. We are being producing around 4.1 million tons of the poultry meat annually. And and out of this 4.1 million tons meat, the majority, more than 92% of the poultry meat is being produced in the unorganized sector. Many of the shops which are being slaughtering one bird to even to the 3,000 to 4,000 bird per day. Such a high level is being there, and whether they are being able to maintain all the hygienic standards and others, that are being issued. Salmonellosis, staphylococcal food poisoning issues, and others are also being a big issue with that. Poultry is the most important area which we should look for. Because this is the most consumed meat. If we see the egg, no doubt there is eggs are being provided by the gourd, the egg shell, which is a protective layer over there, and which protects its quality and everything. But still, there is a lot of hue and cry regarding the life of the egg. In none of the book it is being mentioned properly that how many days the egg can survive. What is the life? 15 days. Some people are writing 15 days, some people are writing 20 days, 30 days, and other. FSSI should come up and bring out the exact age of the egg with respect to the time and temperature combinations being used. What is the life? And then accordingly we can put up the expiry date of the eggs on that. Then it will be the most important, because India, as you know, it's nowadays even that humid and the high temperature is being going on. So can you assess that the quality of the egg will be the same which is being in case of the cold temperature ranges? So the egg quality analysis, how the standards should be framed out for the fresh eggs and the aged eggs, the identification of the aged eggs, and that's being the most important. Properly graded eggs, and the storage guidelines should be issued by the FSSI, and everything it should be moved. The egg is being moving from this part of the nation to even even to the Bombay and other part. Means they are being traveling up to 2,500 to 3,000 kilometers. So can you assess that how the egg is being handled on that process? That should be the properly guidelines should be there. And for the food safety and others, there's a 5 keys are always being issued, discussed by the different agencies, including the WHO. What are these 5 keys? First key is the cleanliness. As I already mentioned you that there should be the clear-cut demarcation between the clean and the unclean area in all the food chain, not only the meat industry, dairy industry, or it should be true about all the restaurants. It's true about the all other parts of that. So there should be the food preparation area should always be separated from the where the raw food product has been handled. It's a clean, it should be properly cleaned and everything is being there. That's the most important. Next important issue is that the majority, but I've seen that the pets, poultry, animals, or even the your dogs, rats, and maybe your cats, they are being moving in your kitchen area and everything. They are even going to the restaurant's kitchen and everything. Is it safe? The $1 billion question is how you can maintain that. That's the most important. We have to restrict them. That's being is a big issue. First, next issue is we have to separate the raw and the cooked food product. Cooking, when we heat up the to the temperature of more than 72 degrees centigrade, it means we are being killing killing majority of the pathogenic and the spillage causing organisms. Their number is being reduced to the acceptable limits. And if it comes in contact with the raw product, then naturally the cross contamination will occur and it again gains it. So the gain which has been, or the benefit which you have gained through the cooking process, especially with respect to the microbiological quality and others, that is being lost if it is being come in contact with the raw food products and everything. So the separation of the raw and the cooked food product is a next important key for the food quality. If we give, so the third key is the cook thoroughly. This is being one of the biggest issue. No doubt in Indian conditions, we are using a lot of spices for cooking our food, for meat products and others. We are going for a high heat treatment. We are always liking to have a full done. So our food product is being considered as a safer one. But still there is a lot of issues are being there, especially like in case of the Punjab and this part of the nation, even the North India, the people are using the tandoori chicken, chicken tikka and others, where the outer layer is being achieving the temperature, where the innermost core temperature is not being achieved.
Dr. Manish,
So,
kindly, can you please speed up?
Sure, sir. Sure. It's
can you?
only 2 slides more. 2 slides.
Okay. Thank you.
Then we have to store for the temperature, safe temperature range from 5 to 60 degrees centigrade. Is being considered as one of the worst temperature ranges where the majority of the pathogenic and spillage organisms can grow up. So we have to look for that one. Then we have to use all the water. That should be potable water and should be clean and the safe water. And all the raw material should be there. Should be whatever the water is being used for cleaning of the raw material also, that should also be a safe. So hazard analysis critical control point is being placed on that. So we should analyze all the hazards being associated with the food product, analyze it properly. Then what are the crucial for this all containments, what are the critical limits are being there, how you can control it, and then how these control points can be placed. That's the most important. And HACCP certifications and others are being the next important. And we have, everybody knew there are the different steps are the 7 principles and the 5 basically preliminary steps are being used for the HACCP system to implement all the regulations and everything. And as you know, as we have discussed a lot regarding that, there is earlier the harmonization of all the laws which are being forming in case of the Indian food industry, that has been gone to the single one, Food Safety and Standard Authority of India, and they are basically designing all that and their working style and everything. I don't need to discuss these things because this has been taken care by the Dr. Amit Sharma and everyone over there. And however, the concern is regarding how the regulation is being maintained. So if someone go for the complaint, how the complaint should move on, that should be regulatory enforcement, that should be properly being placed, and the laws about this one should be properly stringently being placed. That's being important. Then the Codex Alimentarius and others are being there, and all these laws should be harmonized properly. We should not make the laws which cannot be achievable. That's the most important, and it should be on the basis of the science. Next important thing, we are fixing out many of the MRL limits and others, that's in PPB and others, whether we are able to achieve those things or not. That's at an international agency, they should also look for that one. So this is regarding the what are the do's and the don'ts, especially for the buying of the different food products, meat industry food products, eggs and others. So this is available in the pink book of the FSSAI and others also. You can go through those one. Regarding the milk also, I won't go. And the frozen foods, it is always being a concern. Especially in Indian conditions, there is always being thinking that the frozen foods, they are a stale food, basi food. Anathema is always being there. We have to make an awareness that the frozen food is the most safe food. It is, if the cold chain is being properly maintained, we have to go for the frozen chain. No doubt, the penetration of the frozen food is being increasing at the rate of around 10 to 11% annually basis. But still, the preference of the people in Indian condition is always to the fresh food. They always go to so the do's and the don'ts regarding the frozen food should also be made aware to all the stakeholders or the consumers, including consumers. If we conclude it, that we have to go for the proper education and the training. Inspection of the processing facilities, food handling operation, warehouses on a regular basis is being required. Microbiological survey for the testing of the different food chains, even your meat vendors or others, it's also being necessity. There is one project was being initiated in a networking project, but regarding the quality evaluation of the processed meat products available on the different vendors chain, but that was not being finally being came up fully. It was being started by the NRC meat, but still it's being in a function. So such a type of projects are being required so that we can have a baseline data regarding the quality of the food product. That's the most important issues. So thank you very much for the patience, learning and everything. And again, I want to thank Dr. Jende as well as the Dr. Paturkar, Vice Chancellor sir, and Dr. Ranade for keeping me alive for this conversation along with all your participants. I'm really thankful all the participants for the patient hearing and everything. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Manish. You have made an excellent presentation, especially for the students' point of view, the overall information on the quality of meat, milk, eggs, fish also. And it was really very informative, and you can see his experience in listening to his presentation. Dr. Manish's department at Ludhiana is worth seeing. Anybody going there must visit and see the developments he has made. In his presentation, couple of things which really appealed to me is we should really think about the quality of or nutrient retention during the thermal processing of meat. Very important thing. We should not just go on cooking any food item for whatever duration we want. So ultimately, we may not get the nutrient for which you are eating. That one thing. Another is the color-based app developed by an entrepreneur in Maharashtra for quick assessment of quality of fish. Really, that is a very fantastic idea. And in all our meat scientists at NRCM or other departments also, they should try to develop this type of color charts or photographs for the information of the consumer, and put it in the form of app that it will be very useful to them. Now, actually, there are some couple of questions on the chat. Shall we take it, Manish, now or at the end of the topic?
It's up to you, sir. Anytime.
I think we will take it at the end of the topic after Navina's presentation, so you both can help each other in answering those questions. Really, thank you so much, Dr. Manish. Very nice presentation.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Now I request Dr. B.M. Navina, Principal Scientist of NRC Meat Hyderabad, to deliver his topic on hygienic meat production during COVID-19 pandemic. Navina, again, a very brilliant scientist from University Hyderabad, and I'm very sure that his presentation will enlighten us in this particular issue. Thank you so much, and I request Navin to kindly go ahead with his presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. At the outset, I would like to thank and congratulate Mopsu for initiating series of webinars on very important topics, actually. So especially I would like to thank the Vice Chancellor for inviting the key stakeholders. In the morning, we heard Dr. Amit Mishra from FSI, and also Dr. Prabhat Kumar from NAHAP, who have set the stage with their initial remarks. So really wonderful initial remarks. And also, it's always a pleasure to discuss anything with Dr. V.V. Kulkarni. So we have been associated with V.V. Kulkarni, sir, even in the meat products panel at the FSA. He has been chairman, and we have developed a lot of standards, which has helped, sir. It is always wonderful to discuss anything with you. And again, it was pleasure listening to Dr. Manish Kumar, sir. So he has made a wonderful presentation, comprehensively covering various food safety issues, actually. So I hope I will be planning to present mainly some application part and some of the policy issues with relation to the food safety, especially the safety of meat and meat products during the COVID-19 pandemic. So Zende, sir, can you okay, allow me to share the screen? Okay.
Yes, you are permitted.
Okay, thank you. Okay, welcome to my presentation. So
Yes. You can continue.
Thank you. So I was asked to give a presentation of the topic hygienic meat and poultry production and processing during COVID-19 pandemic. So we have been discussing a lot for the last 3-4 months. I think various topics have been discussed. The question is, are we drawing any conclusion out of all this presentation which people are making in the last 3-4 months, so that we can develop some kind of policy paper, some white paper, which can be submitted to various ministries or the regulatory agencies or the secretaries or the DADHF. So hope we'll think of it later. So to begin with, I just would like to brief about the livestock sector before we discuss the meat actually. So the livestock sector contribute to the nation in terms of the economy, in terms of livelihood, and in terms of nutritional security. I think Manish Kumar sir has already touched the nutritional security, how a milk, meat, egg, or the poultry contribute to the nation in terms of nutritional security. So dear friends, when we talk of economy, the livestock and poultry in India contribute almost 10,50,000 crore every year. That is almost 4.9% of the national GDP. This is the reason why the government has created a separate animal and fisheries ministry at the center, because the contribution of the livestock, poultry, and fish is huge. Almost 7% of the national GDP is contributed by these. So out of 10,56,000 crores which the livestock and poultry contribute, the meat and poultry egg, they contribute almost 25% of it. The milk part is only 65%, and the remaining is meat, poultry, and egg. So that is the reason today we are discussing the hygienic meat or poultry and egg production and this webinar, very important topic. So in addition to the economy, the livestock also contribute to the livelihood. Almost 12% of the rural livelihood in India by the farmers is earned by the livelihood. So the backyard poultry farming alone contributes to 30 million jobs to the farmers. The organized poultry farming, it almost provides 10 to 15 million jobs to our farmers. So in addition to that, all the leather industry, the meat, export meat plants are providing employment. Now the whole country is talking about the sectors which can create employment. So considering that the meat, poultry, and egg industry are highly economic generating and employment generating sector. So now this presentation is about so how to sustain this livestock sector. So for the last 15 days or 1 month, we have been celebrating World Zoonosis Day, and there were a lot of discussion how healthy people, healthy environment, healthy animal, and healthy food, how it synergize the healthy people around the globe. So now, recently, so everyone is talking how the diseases are being transmitted from animals to human beings. So as per various records, almost 60% of the diseases are transmitted to the human beings through the animals. So far, we have been concentrating mainly on the food animals. When we talk of food animals, it is mainly cattle, buffalo, sheep, goat, pig, and poultry. But after this COVID-19 pandemic, lot of public health specialists or epidemiologists, we have been started thinking about the contribution of the wild animals in the transmission of all these diseases. So since almost 2003, whenever some outbreak happens, so each crisis that the livestock industry goes through present challenges and prospects to raise the bar. So every time an outbreak happened, it poses a lot of challenge actually. So be it a SARS, which happened in 2003, avian influenza, swine flu, MERS, African swine fever, which led to the killing of millions of pigs around the globe, and the COVID-19 in the 2019. So now, because of all these events, now we have started to make a decision based on the risk analysis. So we cannot make any decision blindly. So first we need to do the risk analysis before we make any decision, before we think of doing any action. So now, if you see the outbreak of SARS, MERS, or various other things, it is very clear most of these outbreaks are not originated directly from the food animals. In majority of the cases, these outbreaks are either happening because of the transmission from the wild animals or other sources like bats or pangolins, mice, and these things. So now recently, the world, especially the public health specialists, they started thinking, is it because of the pigs? Because in most of the cases, the pigs act as mixing vessels for pig avian human influenza virus. I think we have a lot of public health specialists in this group. So probably you need to think, we need to concentrate more on the disease transmission through the pigs, because worldwide now people have started thinking more about the pigs and how they are acting as a host or the vectors or maybe secondary host in transmission of this disease. This is just a thought I'm giving you to concentrate more on the pigs, how we can contain the disease with a good animal husbandry practice. So now, after this COVID-19 outbreak, a lot of people worldwide, they are blaming WHO for their effort not to contain the disease. So somewhere we are missing the point, especially the live animal, the wild animal, or the trade or the meat consumption from these animals is mainly monitored or regulated by OIE, the World Organization for Animal Health. So it is my personal view, because the SARS or the MERS, which have happened almost 15 years back, we got to learn that majority of these diseases are transmitted through the wild animals. So OIE might have thought of some strategies to contain these long back. Now only after this COVID-19 outbreak, OIE came forward and they said now they want to develop standards and they want to regulate the wild animal markets and the trade of wild animal meat. So probably they failed to understand the transmission of these kind of pandemics from the wild animal and how it is being transmitted through the food animals to the human beings. So probably they are late in formulating these guidelines, because in most of the cases it is related to the wild animals. So now the big question, so whether the meat, poultry, and egg consumption results in the corona disease transmission. So now each one of us are thinking and we have our own hypotheses how it is being. So now it is very clear the COVID-19 is mainly transmitted through the respiratory tract. When an infected person coughs or sneezes, he will emit that droplet. So when the droplet falls on the surface or the door handles or the bells, when a healthy person touches it or a healthy person goes in close proximity to the affected person, he gets the infection. But there are a lot of myths, incertitude, misconception that this virus is being transmitted through the chicken. Worldwide, researchers have very clearly said the coronavirus that affects the poultry and causes respiratory disease in chicken, it belongs to gamma coronavirus group. So the gamma coronavirus are not found to infect the human beings. Whereas the SARS-CoV-2, which is causing infection in the human beings, it is not found to affect, not reported to affect the chicken. So even the researchers have tried to induce the infection in the chicken or some other animal with the SARS-CoV-2, but SARS-CoV-2 was not found in any organism other than the human beings worldwide so far. So it is absolutely, the consumption of meat, food, or any food items is absolutely safe from SARS-CoV-2 or the coronavirus. So the bottom line is the SARS-CoV-2 virus was never found in any organism so far besides the human beings. So it's originated from the wet markets of Wuhan city of China, very clear. So how it was originated, is it because through the bats or the pangolins, maybe the food items or the vegetables, fruits, food, wild animal meat, everything might have got contaminated with the urine or the fecal sample from the bats or pangolins. So through which, so people might have got the SARS-CoV. So that is the hypothesis so far we have. So, but otherwise, lot of agencies worldwide, whether it is in Europe or in the US Food and Drug Administration, the Codex Alimentarius, all these renowned world agencies have came forward and they said the coronavirus is not transmitted through meat, poultry, or food. Even the World Health Organization, the renowned organization of the world, they said the consumption of meat is safe during the COVID-19. Only thing is we need to follow the good management practices, good handling, and good cooking practices. Even within India, the Department of Animal Husbandry Dairying, so the director DADH, even our Animal Husbandry Ministry, he came forward and they said the consumption of meat or poultry is safe and it is not going to cause the COVID-19. The Food Safety and Standards Authority of India has also issued a guidance document. They also issued a statement saying the consumption of the meat or poultry or the egg is safe and it is not going to transmit the COVID-19. So some of the state governments, even the Bihar state government came forward and they said the chicken khaye, the consumption of chicken is safe actually. Even from the NRC and meat. So we have developed various e-books, various posters, and in different languages we developed these posters and it has been distributed to the different retailers, processors, export meat plants, even the state animal husbandry departments. We have distributed these and said what are the basic good hygienic practices one should follow in order to prevent the transmission through different modes actually. So at the end, there is no evidence to suggest that the coronavirus, the SARS-CoV-2 virus, is transmitted through the food, meat, poultry, and eggs. So it's absolutely safe. I think we all, as a responsible scientists, responsible citizens, need to forward some good scientific messages which are being given by the FDA, CDC, USDA, even the FSI. So let us try to forward all the positive messages to the public around India so that all the negative messages which comes out will be nullified. So now after this this one, let us talk about the safety of meat and meat products. Because when we discuss a One Health concept, so mostly the people will mainly concentrate at the slaughter level, maybe at the retail meat level. So when we want to ensure the safety of the meat, poultry, or the egg, so we need to address the whole value chain. Unless we address the transportation of the animal, the marketing of live animals, the slaughtering, transportation, retailing, and at the consumer level, will fail to address the One Health concept. So when we talk of meat safety, so first let us think, do we have a one model animal market in the whole India? So as a country, we are failing. We don't have even a one good animal market. So lot of contamination, lot of disease transmission between the species and maybe from the wild animal, maybe through the bats or pangolis may happen at the animal market level. It may happen during the transportation. It may happen at the slaughter level. But most of the times, we fail to understand the whole value chain. We concentrate only at the slaughter level, dear friends. So we need to improve our infrastructure. So our government agencies, state governments especially, because most of these issues comes under the state government's purview. State governments must think to enrich the facilities, especially with the animal marketing. Since last 50 years, we have the same old kind of markets, same old kind of animal transportation, except for the poultry. We do not have any of these facilities. So when it comes to slaughter, I will go species wise. So the buffalo meat sector is fairly well because almost 90% of the buffalo meat produced in India is processed in almost export meat plant. We have around 80 to 85 export meat plant. So these are state of the art. They are certified by the APEDA, Agricultural Process Export Development Authority. So they are good. They are maintaining all the hygienic protocols. So 90% of the buffalo meat produced in India is hygienic, good, and it is being exported to various countries. So why I am talking about the buffalo is when a farmer at the end of the productive period, when the buffalo stop producing milk, when the buffalo no longer it can consume, it goes for slaughter. Otherwise, no farmer will sell the buffalo, productive buffalo for meat. So when a farmer is selling his unproductive female buffalo, he gets almost 25,000 rupees per buffalo. Dear friends, I think none of the government scheme can give a farmer 25,000 rupees in one go. Here is an industry which is giving almost 25,000 rupees to a poor farmer when he sells his unproductive buffalo for the meat purpose. So this industry per se is helping millions of farmers like this, I think. We need to understand the economics, the employment potential involved in this sector. So almost the country is exporting 30,000 crores worth of buffalo meat every year. So next to the basmati rice, buffalo meat is number one. The government of India is happy to earn these export cash inflows to the country actually. So please understand the economic importance and the employment opportunities in addition to the nutritional security which these sectors are providing. So we almost have 80 export buffalo meat plants in the country. So almost 50% of them, 43 meat plants are located in Uttar Pradesh. Next is Maharashtra. So you have the 15 export buffalo meat plant. Lot of farmers are getting income when he sells his unproductive buffaloes. And in addition to that, the industry is also providing employment to huge billions of farmers. So when then come to the sheep and goat meat sector. Dear friends, at present, the sheep and goat meat sector in the country is around 66,000 crores worth. But if we organize this industry, it can grow up to 1,50,000 crores. It has a potential to contribute up to 1,50,000 crores. But the bad thing is, in the whole country, we do not have even one good slaughterhouse, especially for the domestic purpose. It was already highlighted by Dr. Manish Kumar to process, to slaughter the sheep and to give hygienic meat. The meat is being sold at almost 700 rupees per kg. But the pity is we do not have one good slaughterhouse. So it is the duty of the state government to identify this sector as a potential sector and improve the infrastructure. So that's what we request. I think all the universities, you are organizing all these webinars. So maybe you need to invite the state government officials, the secretaries of animal husbandry or the animal husbandry directors of each state. So they should realize the potential of these sectors, how they can help the state government to earn more revenue and to give more employment to our farmers actually. So this is what the need of the hour. So again, when it comes to slaughterhouses, so we have all these municipal abattoirs. They do almost 1,000 to 2,000 crore business each year. But if you don't find a good approach road, you don't find a water supply, or you don't find electricity supply in these areas, much neglected, because this is under state government and municipal authorities are managing it. So municipal authorities have various other issues like health, hospitals, schools to take care. For them, the slaughterhouse or the slaughtering is a very least prioritized area. So in turn, what is happening is it has been neglected over centuries actually. So we do not have a clean equipment, we do not have unloading ramp, a good water facilities, effluent treatment, toilet facilities. The basic facilities are missing actually. So now, after, I think this is one example you have in the Maharashtra, the Ahmednagar Cooperative Federation Limited. I think this is the only one slaughterhouse in the country, especially to cater to the domestic requirements. Other than this, I don't think we have any good slaughterhouse for sheep and goat, which is sold at almost 700 rupees per kg meat. So when it comes to poultry industry, a lot of changes are happening. No doubt the poultry sector is growing at more than 10%. That is the only sector within the agriculture which is growing at more than 10% each year. Especially the value-added poultry meat products are growing at 20% every year. So the poultry sector is contributing almost 1% to our national GDP. It is a 1,35,000 crore sector providing employment to millions of farmers. Now the ministry, the Animal Husbandry Ministry has understood the potential of the poultry sector in the country. So, but within the poultry sector, the problem is it is completely vertically integrated. 70% of the poultry in India is organized. When it comes to breeding, feeding, hatchery, broiler farming, it is very well organized. But the moment when it comes to slaughter, distribution and the retailing, it becomes unorganized. So these poultry farmers, the big poultry owners, they are investing 100, 200 crores for breeding hatcheries. But when it comes to meat, slaughtering, they don't want to invest. They say the people don't consume the chilled or the frozen meat. So we do not have the habit. So there's not much meaning in investing in this. But still, the things are changing very fast. Now, a lot of poultry processing plants have come up. So we have almost 30 to 40, a big modern automated poultry processing plant. Almost 11% of the poultry meat produced in India is now chilled, branded, frozen and marketed. So it is growing very fast. So when it compared to the fish, fruits, vegetable, the meat sector, the value addition is better. Almost 90% of our buffalo meat produced in the country is chilled, branded and exported, almost 21% of it. The poultry meat, 11%. Total, almost 33% of the meat produced in the country is chilled, branded and exported or used for the domestic purpose. It is far better when it comes to fish, vegetables and fruits. Maybe the dairy is doing good. So this is what we all want to see. We want to see that we have these wonderful modern retail shops, but there are many issues to address. So are the consumer is willing to buy the chilled or the frozen or the packed meat? Do he has the required trust with all these value chain? That is a big concern. So, but the positive thing is a lot of e-commerce, big retailers, e-commerce people have come. So these people are trying to a supply, a chilled, packed, hygiene, branded meat. So people, the public are getting confidence. They are trusting these, and we hope that the poultry sector definitely going to change in the coming years. So maybe at present we have 11% of processed poultry meat. It is going to minimum 20-25% in the coming years. That's what our guess actually. Okay, now, so what is the post-COVID situation? So now, after this COVID outbreak, there is a rising unemployment. There is no denial. The deteriorating earnings, people have lost their jobs, rise in the number of lower income households, disrupted supply chain. In spite of the best efforts, the supply chains got disrupted. Absence of school feeding program. Lot of kids used to get their free lunch at this thing. Now, because of this COVID pandemic, they are not going to schools. The school feeding program, they are not able to get 3 meals every day. Struggling families who rely on the food assistance, uncertainty and confusion over the food. So these are some of the factors post-COVID. So now, increased demand for the fresh food, because now with the COVID-19 situation, our people have the habit of just buying anything, whether it's a vegetable, fruits, egg, meat, milk, anything which is very close to my home, just a walkable distance, so that it's a proximity to the residential area. They can negotiate the price in the retail shops. Local farmers, they have the credit facilities. That's how our wet market is being survived. It is not just in India. Even in the developed nations like Hong Kong, Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, lot of market is still under wet market condition. But at the same time, we are moving towards a supermarket concept, because the availability of chilled frozen food, the convenience, the portion size, even Dr. Manish Kumar sir has also highlighted about the condition of the wet markets. So now I want to give some solutions. He's telling about we need to find some solution, because as per the World Health Organization guidelines, even now the World Health Organization did not say stop the wet market. What they said is don't slaughter or sell the wild animal meat in the wet market. In India, usually, normally we don't slaughter or we don't deal the wild animal market. Maybe in the rarest case somewhere it is happening, but in majority of the cases, we do not slaughter, we do not trade the wild animals. And chicken slaughter or retailing is entirely different, and the mutton or sheep, goat meat is different. Unlike the fruits, vegetable and fish, which are normally traded in open places. So chicken, mutton, when it comes to chicken or mutton retailing, they are far better when it compares to the fruits, vegetables or the fish, I think. But they are highly perishable, so we need to take more care. So now what is the solution? So on the left side, you can see some market. It is a small place in Telangana state. It's a small taluk place. They have created this integrated market. So it's a small district place, this integrated market. So people cannot sell meat in all the streets. Whoever want to do the business, they need to come to this integrated market. They have created a huge facility. So no movement of live animals or live birds. All the bird meat brought to this place and where they do the market. So can we have this kind of integrated market in the city of Mumbai? Can we have some 100 integrated market like this? Because when the pandemics are happening, everyone are worrying about the disease containment. So Mumbai with the population of 2 crore, do you able to contain the disease when we fail to address these some of the basic issues? So some of the basic hygienic protocols. So even if you want to continue with the wet market, which is the present new normal. So maintain the social distancing, strict personal hygiene, cleaning and sanitation. So can we think of 1 day off in a week for all these wet market, whether it's a chicken market or meat, mutton market, 1 day off in a week for complete cleaning and decontamination, so that these retail shops may be completely sanitized and decontaminated once in a week. So clearly divide the dry and wet zone operations. Again, waste disposal is a big problem. When you have 10-15 shops in each street, you have thousands of shops, maybe in the Mumbai or in Hyderabad or metro cities especially. So how we can collect the waste and dispose it? That's a big challenge. So then the metropolitan cities, huge population density. We cannot allow these live birds or the live animals to enter inside the city. You may be having a wonderful Deonar avatar, but are you able to manage the diseases from the live animal marketing, how the live animals are transported to the Deonar avatar? So unless you can control the whole value chain, unless your animal husbandry department or the municipal authorities are able to address the whole value chain, the marketing of animal, transporting for animals, then slaughtering, retailing, consumer will not be able to contain the future pandemics, because these pandemics are going to happen in the coming years. Dear friends, we need to develop a proper strategies. So good production practices need to be communicated to the state government authorities. So they should be taught actually. So how we can? So can we stop the movement of live animals or birds, at least in the metropolitan cities in the India to begin with? Because we will not be able to do it in district places, taluk places, because there the population density is less, the cities are smaller, they can manage. But in big metropolitan cities at this stage, we will not be able to manage the movement of birds, animals, and all these things. So we need to promote the chilled, packed, and the frozen meat, at least in bigger cities, because here we have a good amount of supermarkets. Each consumer will have refrigerator, will have a good electricity in these cities. So it can be very well done, provided if there are policy decisions. So now, recently, just 1 week back, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, so they came out with the guideline. They come out with the data that almost 16,233 people in the USA were found positive. All these people are working in meat and poultry plant. 86 deaths. So now again, after this report, people have started thinking whether all these outbreaks are happening because of the meat plant. So we need to find some solution. Otherwise, people started questioning, people start doubting the meat and meat products. So mainly what they're saying is, it is because most of the meat plant, they're completely closed within the air conditioned rooms, and almost the people, they work for 8 to 12 hours in a shift. There are a lot of chances that the disease will be spread among these workers. So now what we need is a policy decision. The government must act as a practitioner, a facilitator, restrainer, and protector while legitimizing and formulating policies to reflect the value of significant segments of society. Because it involves huge employment, it involves huge economy. We cannot take decision just to stop these things. We need to be a sensible public policy must balance the potential benefits of improved food retailing efficiency with the potential detrimental effects on some other aspects of society. No doubt, the public health is more important. At the same time, the employment, the economy, the livelihood of people need to be considered. So we need to balance when we take some decisions. So, okay, some of the basic steps, I think you're all very clear. A lot of people have been talking about these steps for the last 3-4 months. So the stringent personal hygiene, the social distancing, cleaning and sanitation, temperature monitoring, so contactless thermometers. So washing hands, at least 5 times washing hands will reduce your chance of infection by 50%. Sanitizing your hand, use of some strip curtains, use of fly catchers, use of PPEs in the meat processing plant or in the retail. It gives confidence to the consumers. We should encourage, we should bring awareness among these meat processors to use some of these things so that the consumer get confidence. So try to use the maximum number of PPEs in your processing plant, contact the thermometer. Now, the sanitizing dispensers, sanitizers, they're all available for 1,000 rupees. You can install as many sanitizers, as many hand wash in your retail shops to promote them. Then social distancing, have a clear cut to social distancing mark. You can get these fumigators. You can use sodium hypochlorite or some solutions to fumigate the lab. Maybe inside your university, if you want to, you have the milk processing plant and meat processing plant, poultry processing plant. Try to fumigate. So demonstrate it to the public, demonstrate it to the stakeholders so that they can adopt it actually. Have food dips, sanitizing mats, maybe in your small processing plant, within your college, you can have the sanitizing mat. So show it to the public, show it to the stakeholders so that they will understand better actually, instead of just telling. So even a lot of these processes, they don't know what kind of sanitizers we should use, where they are available. In a city like Mumbai, can the university queue some 100 addresses where this sodium hypochlorite solution is available? Everyone knows the sodium hypochlorite is a very good sanitizer. I got every day, I get hundreds of calls from the entrepreneurs, sir, where they are available in Hyderabad. So it is our duty to educate these people. It's our duty to pass on the message to all these processors, stakeholders. So what to do, how much sodium hypochlorite they need to mix it actually, how to make the solution. So this looks very trivial, but people don't know. It's our duty to pass on this message. So come out in the brochures, come out in the leaflets. So distribute it through the WhatsApp group, distribute through the social media platform so the public will come to know. So how to make 0.5% sodium chloride solution. So we talk big actually, but at the ground level, we need this small information for this small retail process, because all our stakeholders, they're all uneducated, they are in a very bad shape. They need the scientific input from the scientific community. Dear friends, this is what we require. So training program, organized retailing, the packaging, how you can dispense the meat with all the PPEs. So some awareness program or some leaflet, brochures to the consumers, go for digital payment, don't handle the cash. Because the recently World Health Organization, what they said, after those working in healthcare sector, key workers in food sector are the second most critical who ensure continuous supply of safe and quality food. Dear friends, we have seen in the last 4 months how our supply chain is robust. Even the developed nations have failed to supply the groceries and food to their people. But in India, we have very robust food supply chain. It is our duty to educate these people. It is our duty to bring awareness among these. I think the FSSA Post-Act is doing a great job in bringing awareness, in educating these people, especially how to maintain the safety during this COVID-19. Even at NRCM meet, we are doing a lot of efforts to educate through the online platform. So with this, I would like to summarize. So what need to be done at this situation? So we have 4 different corners. One is government agencies. It is the duty of the government agencies, whether it's the FSSAI, whether it's a DADH, whether it's the Ministry of Food Processing Industries, to create a positive regulatory environment. There are a lot of negative feeling attached to this sector actually. So you need a positive, we need a positive regulatory environment. At the same time, we also have these big private players, whether it's a buffalo meat exporter, whether it's a poultry processors. They need to adopt the HACCP, food safety management system, and demonstrate to the public that you are following the best hygienic protocols and the meat what you are producing are safe, hygienic. So it should come from the private players. They need to demonstrate to the public. They need to win the trust of the people actually. Otherwise, we will not be able to defend. There are a lot of negative forces which are working against this sector. If I want to defend as a scientist, I need a lot of input from you, all of you, so that we can defend it actually. So at the same time, the producers, our farmers, they need to adopt the good production practices. And this is our duty to educate these producers, these farmers, how they can produce a hygienic and safe animals. Then it is the job of the universities, the research institutes, to come out with a science-based evidence. So show to the public that corona is not transmitted through the food, meat, or poultry. What we require is promote animal husbandry activities, promote your technologies, go for value chain approach, skill development, entrepreneurship development, demonstration. So all these will help, definitely help double the farmer's income actually. So at the same time, on the left side, you can see what we require is a creation of better infrastructure. We need a good animal markets, model animal market. We need a good transportation facilities. It is a duty of the state governments to provide a safe and hygienic meat to the public. It is a constitutional duty. So they have failed to do this actually. So you need to bring it to their notice that they need to do. They need to take care of all these things. Abattoirs, we need a modern, good abattoirs. Retail meat shops, you need to provide some incentives. You need to provide some help, because the Ministry of Food Processing Industries or Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairy are come out with some schemes at least. Because in the last 15 days, we have seen the DADH has released 10,000 crores for animal husbandry sector. So all of us have done the thumbs up. I'm still watching how much of this 10,000 crores is being given to improve the animal markets or improve the slaughterhouse facilities or improve the retail meat. Because all of this money goes for either salmon sexing or improving the milk productivity. None of the people at the center are talking anything about the animal market, transportation, the retail shops, or the slaughterhouse. I think it is a right platform. We need to bring it to their notice that these are the areas which require the funding, it requires infrastructure support, and all these agencies must support it if we want to ensure the doubling of farmers' income. Because these are the commodities which are giving huge economic benefits to the country, and these are the commodities which are giving huge employments to our farmers. So I would like to conclude with this, dear friends. So the 4 strategies to handle any kinds of pandemic, even in the coming years. So what we require is better animal disease monitoring and surveillance. All our epidemiologists, public health specialists, you need to work on this actually. How the disease transmission from the wild animals can be prevented. How we can break that chain. Regular vaccination. No doubt the government is putting a lot of efforts for this regular vaccination. But other 3 areas are being neglected. Implementing food safety management system. We are producing huge amount of milk, number 1 in terms of milk production, but there are no buyers. We are unable to export our milk because we completely lack the food safety management system, completely lack the HACCP principles. I think these things need to be taught and these things need to be demonstrated and adopted. And at the same time, creation of better infrastructure. So only after all, with these 4 strategies, we will be able to ensure the hygienic meat, hygienic milk, hygienic fish, or any commodities. So it is applicable to all the commodities. So please identify the strengths associated with the meat, poultry, and egg sector. They have a huge potential and contribute towards filling the gaps or weakness. It is easy to criticize actually. So even the PETA gives one-page advertisement saying that it is because of the wet market, the COVID-19 is spreading. You can easily do that. Dear friends, identify the strength with this sector and try to fill the gaps, because ultimately it is millions of farmers who are going to get benefit. It is not about a few people in the society. It is millions of farmers who gets income, who gets their livelihood. So we need to do this. So with this, we have a lot of reading material, lot of further reading you can do. So we have this soft copy of these good production practices. Recently, we published this e-handbook to ensure the safety of the meat, poultry, and the egg during COVID-19. We have come out with a lot of posters from the NRC and BEAT. They are all available on our institute website. So you may visit, you can download, and you can go through and distribute them to the required stakeholders. So at the same time, the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India has also come out with various guidance documents, various posters. So please subscribe to this channel through the Twitter or Instagram, WhatsApp, and distribute the positive things among the public. So with that, I would like to conclude my talk. Thank you very much. So please follow SMS, sanitize your hand, wear the mask, and maintain the social distancing. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Zande sir and the Vice Chancellor, for giving me an opportunity to share my inputs in your webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Navina,
Thank you,
for a very exhaustive presentation. It is really wonderful to hear always, Dr. Navina.
Surani?
Am I audible to all?
Yeah. Audible.
Am I audible to all?
Yes, sir.
Now we have completed 2 presentations, and I would like to thank both the speakers for really they have put in a lot of efforts in making you understand the subject as well as the priorities in hygienic meat production. Dr. Navina has given a lot of solutions also. And really, it was fantastic to listen to both the speakers. Now, before we start the interaction, there are a couple of questions which have come in the chat. I would like to acknowledge my co-chairman, Dr. Vaskar, and rapporteur, Dr. Shuklaji. I'm sorry, I forgot to acknowledge them in the beginning of this session. I'm really sorry. So I acknowledge the efforts of co-chairman, Dr. Vaskar, and Dr. Shukla as a rapporteur. Hope they are noting down the few points. Now, without wasting some time, now we will go for questions which have come in the chat. So there is one question earlier. I'll just go to the questions. Is it possible to detect the hormones in the food product? Now, both either Navina and this is for Dr. Manish. He can answer the questions. Dr. Manish, are you able to hear me? Dr. Manish? Dr. Navina, can you answer this?
So now the NDRI, the National Dairy Research Institute, they have developed various strip-based tests, especially based on the lateral flow, say, or immunochromatogram strips for detection of some chemical residues or preservatives, including the pesticides and antibiotic residues. So it can only detect it actually. It is only semi-quantitative type or qualitative type. But I'm not sure about the hormones, but hormones can be very well detected using LC-MS. So liquid chromatography mass spectrometry technique is ultimate. Even the nanomoles or micromoles can be very easily detected by using LC-MS. So, but at this moment, I don't think we have any field usable kit which can detect the hormones. But with a LC-MS test, it can be very well detected in any commodities.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. You can detect the hormones qualitatively in any food product.
Sir, I want to add in this one.
Please.
Dr. Navina said it's very good. It can be detected by some HPLC or LCMS, but the more sensitive test for the detection of this hormones residue in meat and meat product or other animal origin food is ELISA kits. Certainly commercially available ELISA kits are available, and we can go certain antibiotic hormones like testosterone, progesterone, and some of the stilbestrol. that can be detected by highly sensitive ELISA kits are available in the market. So that can be also used in labs which are mainly available in the interior area. So there we can use that ELISA kit very easily by the some unskilled even person also, and we can train the people, and that can be used for the normal detection of hormones.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, Dr. Jende, for editing that. Now, third question is from Dr. Sattu. After cooking the meat by our common methods, how many hours normally you can keep meat at ambient temperature? Dr. Navina or Manish, anybody can answer.
Yeah, it's a very tricky question, sir, actually. So probably no one has evaluated. So again, it depends on the salt concentration and all the spices, condiments which we add. And usually we cook at a very high temperature, and unless we repeatedly handle it or we keep it open, I think very well it can be kept for 24 hours probably. My common sense, actually. I think Chairman sir can probably narrate it better.
Actually, as per the food poisoning guidelines, the time interval between cooking and consumption should not be more than 60 minutes, they say. When the gap is more than 60 minutes, suppose preparation and consumption, you refrigerate that product at low temperature.
Yeah.
That is the normal guideline from the food poisoning point of view.
Yes.
I hope, Sattu, whether your question is answered. I don't know whether he's there.
Yes,
Now,
not unmuted.
third one is from Mr. Chetan. Suppose in a slaughterhouse, if 100 large animals are slaughtered, how many carcasses should be tested every day for microbial compliance as per FSSI?
I think FSSA, yeah, they have specified the sample planning, the biological hazard panel. They have developed these standards actually. So do we have Dr. Amit Mishra in online, sir? I think they will be better able to. So, but normally we recommend the random sampling, and the sampling should be uniform. If you have a whole lot of maybe tons of sample, so it should be taken from different locations. So minimum in the scientific term, we say minimum 3 replications or minimum 5 replications. So n is equal to 5. I think if it is 100 kg, we don't require more than 3 samples from 3 different locations.
No,
Sir, I request Dr. Kiran Belegavkar sir is also with us.
Yes.
I
Yes.
think he has work in FSSI Biohazard panel. He can highlight more on this question.
Okay.
Belegavkar sir, please.
Okay. The question, Dr. Chetan's question was if there are 100 animals slaughtered per day. Is it so?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So it's a processing monitoring which he wants to ask. The FSSAI regulations regarding microbiology, as Dr. Navina said correctly, they are
For microbiological surveillance, sir. Only see that what is the total web.
He is asking regular process monitoring of the slaughterhouse. If there are daily slaughtered animals are 100, then how many samples to be tested by the processor? That's what his question was. Dr. Navina said that is related to the end product testing, that is n is equal to 5. The processor, they can devise as such there are no requirements from the FSSAI related to the number of animals to be tested for microbiology if 100 animals or 50 animals are to be slaughtered. For poultry, yes, recently one guidance document has been combined joint guidance document by FSSAI and SHIFS has come out. And there is a recommendation for small poultry house, medium poultry house, and large poultry house per week or per day samples to be tested if it is less than 100,000 or 5,000. So there is a requirement that the bigger slaughterhouse, they should test at least one sample per day daily from each batch. If the animals or birds are coming, I am talking about poultry now. For large animals, as such, there is no guidance as of now, and it is coming. It will slowly come, and people are working on it. For poultry, it is small and medium, 1 samples per week. And for larger, it is daily 1 sample to be tested. But again, it depends on processor, how confident he is about his processing and hygiene requirement. They can devise their own sampling plans. And once they are confident, they can go for the regulatory aspect, and then they can stick to once a week or once a day, whatever regulation says.
Yes, I agree with Dr. Biligavkar that there are no regulatory guidelines for this. But conventionally, because in a slaughterhouse, if 100 animals are slaughtered, especially large animal, it is not necessary that they belong to the same owner.
Yeah.
They may be from different owners also. So thumb rule could be at least 1% of the total sample size should be tested for microbiological analysis. But as again Dr. Biligavkar added, that depends on the farm conditions and how the, if incidents, earlier screening of the animals at the farm, if you come across some more of salmonella or other cases, then it may need to go to up to the 5% of the total number of animals slaughtered from a particular batch of the, number of animals slaughtered which are owned by a particular owner. But as such, there are no fixed regulatory guidelines, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Anybody wants to add anything more on that? Dr. Vaskar, would you like to say something?
Definitely, sir. As rightly been pointed out by Kiran Biligavkar sir, and as your good self also, we need to have evolved certain guidelines as far as the large animals are concerned. We don't have the principally, and the very true is that the number of animals which are coming are scanty, particularly from a single producer. Unlike in poultry, we receive the animals particularly from the one particular batch, maybe in the thousands or 10,000. And categorization becomes very easy in such cases since they are coming from a single source. But since here the multiple sources are involved, I think it is more apt to revise the guidelines. And as Dr. Biligavkar sir has rightly said, it will be, I think, taken care of. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Shall we move to the next question, or anything more to be added? Next question is from my friend Dr. Sunil Kulkarni. He is asking 4 or 5 questions. Hope we will be able to answer. Number 1 question is how to define or explain freshness of meat, mainly in frozen chilled or crushed field, freezing chilled. Dr. Navina.
Yeah, if it is a fresh or chilled meat, normally we call it as a R value. So R value is the ratio of the ATP, adenosine diphosphate and adenosine monophosphate. So to some extent, it will indicate at what stage of rigor mortis the meat is at. So is it past the rigor mortis, or it is based on the ATP level. So for the frozen thawed meat, there are various enzymes. So that can be estimated. So if it is a frozen and thawed meat, there will be a significant increase in the concentration of the enzymes. So now that's normally do, but there are various other sensors now people are developing. They are still at the research level. So they indicate by changing the color actually. So once the meat is 3-day old or 4-day old, so that is mainly based on the amount of amines produced within the sample actually. So based on the concentration of the amines, so the color of the sensor will change actually. So like that's called active packaging or packaging method wherein they insert that sensor. That is not still at the marketing. Maybe in some European countries it has come actually. So, but in India, I think maybe estimating the R value or estimating the enzymes level for the frozen thawed meat is one indication.
Dr. Sunil, would you like to interact? Sunil?
Hello.
Tell me, please.
No, it's okay. That just because whenever we are dealing with the retail customers, so many times they ask the question that it is a fresh means what? Fresh means
video चालू करा video.
Video चालू करा. चेहरा तो पाऊ दे.
Many times they ask that Namaskar.
Yeah.
Many times they ask for the freshness of the meat, that it is a fresh means mainly all the customers, the freshness means it is a slaughtered at the same time, or it is very freshly slaughtered. That is the freshness they define. So that just I wanted to know that how scientifically we can tell them to the freshness of the meat to the customers.
So
Thank you for that. Thank you for the.
So one more simple way is, especially if you want to know the freshness, the probe pH meter is the best one, sir. We have a probe pH meter because normally the pH of the freshly slaughtered meat is around 7. So it takes almost 24 hours for sheep or goat meat to come down to 5.6 or 5.8. In poultry, almost it takes around 4 hours to 8 hours for the pH to come down to 5.6 or 5.5. So even you can use the probe pH meter to give some idea to the consumer or the retailer. So how fresh it is. So when it is slaughtered. So that minimum intervention can be done. Pro pH meter you can use.
So it is all everything depend upon that mainly the rigor mortis and the conversion of the lactic
Yeah.
acid.
Normally we call it the conversion of muscle to meat. When the conversion of muscle to meat happens, the pH come down from 7 to 5.5 or 5.6 because 5.6 is the ultimate pH. So now it usually takes 24 hours at the 24 to 48 hours at refrigeration temperature. Maybe at the room temperature it comes very fast. So and for the poultry it takes around 6 to 8 hours. So it gives some indication because we'll not be able to do R value estimation or enzyme estimation at all level. But at the retailer level, so one pro pH meter will help us to give some idea how old it is.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, doctor. Vivi.
Yeah, I think with reference to the second question, sir, I can read it actually. So is it possible to remove the pesticide contamination from feed or meat? So at this juncture, what we can tell is there are various literature actually. As per the scientific literature, the pesticide or the chemical residue level can come down by at least 25 to 30% when you go for cooking actually. So boiling, cooking, a different cooking method, it comes down. And there are various other scientific evidence also with the use of all these spice mixers and condiments. So that will help to reduce all these polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, especially from the smoked or highly cooked samples actually. So with our kind of cooking method, what we follow in India, with the use of all the spices, condiments, and our cooking at very high temperature, so definitely it will reduce by 20 to 25 to 50% at the most. All these chemical residues they are there because even we have done some work with under FSA project. One of my colleagues, Dr. Muthukumar, is working, and with this close discussion, I came to learn that almost 25-30% will come down definitely with our kind of cooking and all this. I think other VPH people can also add into this if you have anything, sir. Zende, sir.
Sir, I can add into this what Dr. Navina has elaborated. Dr. Vaskar also knows that I did my PhD on this pesticide detection in meat and meat product, and for that reason also we have one of the parameter to see that how that the cooking methods affects on the residues of the pesticides in the meat and meat product. So in our study, we have done use different methods of cooking like microwave cooking, then boiling, then pressure cooking. So that and just boiling in the water. So there are different methods are used for studying and spiking the known concentration of pesticides in the meat. And we have seen that high pressure cooking, so that gives a better result and that reducing about more than 50% of the pesticide residue which is available in the meat. And generally, sir, what we observed in the meat which is sold to the human consumption in the market, so the level of the pesticide residues are they are very negligible. They are below the MRS levels which are prescribed by the various authorities like even our BIS, FSSI, and also the Codex Elementaries. But we should not fear about what pesticide levels are there. That chemically, our meat is very safe for the human consumption. It doesn't have any health hazards by consuming the meat and meat products. Thank you so much.
Hello. Hello.
हाँ सर बोला.
Doctor, sometime back when I was working in the field, so that time we have used activated charcoal in the field to remove the pesticides from the feed, so that the consumption of the pesticides will not be there for the animals or the birds. And so any work has been done on this, okay, how much activated charcoal we can use, or what is the percentage of the removal of the meat? Because once the pesticide it is in the meat or in egg, it is very difficult to remove. So if we can do the something to in the field, because there are only two vehicles which can consume for the consumption of this pesticide. One is water and one is a feed. So if we can take care of the this or non-selective absorption of the pesticides molecules in the feed, can produce the pesticide. Work on in the Meat Institute or NRC has been done anything, doctor?
I think activated charcoal is a good area, sir. Probably we have not worked on it. So how it will help to reduce the pesticide level? That is, I think, is a good area to work on. Probably. So not much idea about this.
Okay.
I think Dr. Ranade sir, he can highlight something on this. Dr. Ranade sir.
Not on this in particular, because as far as poultry is concerned, as you all know, only 7% of the poultry is actually slaughtered and sold. 93% is a live market. But I would like to add one input regarding the eggs, which were referred by the earlier speaker, Manish. We normally teach the students, and it's a common understanding that for 2 weeks the eggs can be kept outside in the ambient temperature without any deterioration, and in the refrigerator you can keep them comfortably up to 3 months. That is what is being said. And moreover, one more point which I would like to add over here is, the keeping quality of the meat, as well as the keeping quality of the cooked food. Once you prepare the food and you keep it, there was a question and there was a debate on how long it can be preserved at ambient temperature. Basically, it all depends on the type of food that is being prepared and the ingredients that go in the cooking process. If the ingredients that go, they are the ones which are going to get spoiled little early, then the duration will be, as pointed out by our chairman sir, 60 minutes. But if the ingredients which go into the cooking, if they are long lasting, then definitely you can keep it for 8 hours or maximum 12 hours. That's just the input which I wanted to give. Thank you.
And sir, what about this activity charcoal they are using in the feed for removing or chelating the pesticides? Is it a practice?
No, it's not a common practice in poultry sector.
Okay.
No, Dr. Chand, it is not a practice. It is only when I use it for the export purpose of egg powders, then that was my experience.
Okay.
Okay, shall we move to next question?
Yes, sir.
I think it is for Dr. Navina. What is the scientific basis of halal, jhatka or any other method of slaughter, especially on meat quality?
Yeah, in terms of meat quality, so not much significant difference, sir, because there are very few works around the world. People have especially trying to compare the halal slaughter without stunning, because normally it is viewed that in the halal slaughter, it should be done by an adult Muslim who is specialized in doing it, and the animal must be turned towards Mecca and he has to offer and he has to pray God before slaughter. So that is halal slaughter. Normally, it is done without stunning. That means animal need to be alive and conscious at the time of slaughtering. Because when you stun it, either to electrical stunning or carbon dioxide stunning, animal will become unconscious. Even though as per the standard guidelines, the stunning of animals is allowed in the halal slaughter, but still the hardcore halal people who want the halal meat, they don't want animal to be stunned. So then people, we even in our NRCM meet, we have done this work to compare between the halal slaughtered without stunning and the one which is slaughtered with stunning. So we compare the meats, but there is not much significant difference in terms of meat quality. But only thing is there is some animal welfare issues involved in it. When you are slaughtering the animal without stunning, So there are a lot of news and cries about you are putting the animals into a lot of struggle and stress. So the animal welfare issues are involved, but whether it is a Jetka or halal or without halal or the normal slaughtered meat, in terms of scientific meat quality, not much significant difference. People could not find it. Even our work got recognized. It got published in even various newspapers saying that the halal meat, non-halal meat, this is the difference. But as per the literature, not much difference in terms of quality of the meat.
Actually, I may add one point to it is the difference is only in the efficiency of bleeding to some extent, which may have some effect on the taste of the meat. But in under Indian condition, we add so much of spices and all, so that little difference, it is very difficult to catch up. Dr. Sunil, would you like to interact, or shall we go to next?
It's okay. It's okay.
Now there is one more about that fish quality app. Perhaps you can see it is in the Pune only. Somebody is doing. I think we'll find out somewhere.
Okay.
Another question from Dr. Binal Prajapati is difference between the monitoring and surveillance. Dr. Vaskar, Bilegaonkar or Jende Saab can answer. Difference between the monitoring and surveillance. Dr. Bilegaonkar? Or anybody, Dr. Vaskar?
Actually, exact meaning of the question could not be understood.
What is the difference between monitoring and surveillance?
So these are the mainly students' questions.
Students' questions.
Okay. No, basically, surveillance mechanism will be carried out in order to find out beforehand, or it's a practice usually carried out. Let's say, for example, for pesticides or anything, that we go on taking the data, catching the data, whether any material has been available, or what are the extent of the percentage of the pesticides being used, or different types of pesticides or anything, or any such type of contaminant being used. So that will be the basically the service. Monitoring that comes a latter part, particularly to see whether the residues of any particular substance, they are present in a particular type of material, or they are excreted in meat or any other substances, or predominantly maybe for milk or meat or egg or foods of animal origin. Okay, so basically these are the two different entities. I think the Kiran sir is online. I think he can highlight more on this particular topic. Kiran sir, please.
Yes. What is the question? Sorry, I was just about a minute. I went out for some work.
Difference between monitoring and surveillance.
Okay. Okay. Monitoring is a continuous activity. You have to continuously check the efficacy of your slaughter process or any activity which you are thinking. And surveillance is a concentrated activity which is done once in a while to identify certain parameters. Like say for microbiology, you can go for surveillance of meat and meat product which are there in a market and check what are all organisms are there. Whereas monitoring means you regularly pick a few samples and check them in between and see how the continuity is there. In process also, it's the same thing. Monitoring is a continuous process. You have to monitor temperature of a certain chiller, or maybe pressure of your washing unit continuously. Whereas surveillance in your plant, you can do once only and then get the information what you need. It's an intensive activity.
Good. Nicely clarified by Dr. Bilegaonkar and Vaskar. Thank you. One more question, I think. Dr. Jende, what is the time we should close?
Sir, we can take one or two questions only.
Okay. Now, I'll take one more question.
What is this one?
I think almost we are through. Now, there is a question from...
Sir, may I answer? There is one very nice question, and which is in everybody's mind, which is asked by Dr. Jaiswal. Suppose meat has been handled by a COVID positive person.
Exactly. Yeah.
Can it be edible by further processing or not? A very pertinent question. I think it is in everybody's mind. Dr. Navina can add to that, or Dr. Chatli, if
Yeah.
he's available.
Sir, technically speaking, when the meat anyway it goes for further processing, then it will be cooked. If you properly cooked, the virus will die. But when we made the guidelines for the FSSAI, so what we have done is, if the meat is handled by positive person, the whole containment has to be disposed. So it cannot be. But technically, it can be when you go for further processing, when it is cooked properly, so no issue. But as per the guidelines, if you want, so if the plant, whole plant need to be seized, the local authorities must be informed, and that container should be disposed. So that's what
Yes,
the guidelines say.
Yes, sir. As rightly said, there is no, should not take any risk of processing or handling it further. It should be closed. And another thing is a student's question for
Hello?
us. What is there any nutrition loss during the freezing, and what is the percentage and all? So there is no nutrition loss during the freezing of the meat. Quick freezing, slow freezing may leave some more of fluids. This is a question from Harshit Reddy. I quickly answer that. So quick freezing is always better than the slow freezing, because a lot of fluid loss in that, some vitamins and all, some water soluble thing like iron and all can be lost. Any other, I don't think now there is any question. One same thing, Dr. Kulkarni also asked that if it is a corona handled by corona persons or it is contaminated, what should we do? We need not take any risk. We can just close this thing, discard the containment, and disinfect the whole area, quarantine. Any other this thing? Anybody wants to add any point to it? My co-chairman or reporter or Sunil, tell me, Sunil.
Just I wanted to know that if accidentally, if whenever there is a shop is there, meat shop, and accidentally that particular meat, a particular bird is contaminated by the handler, then that time you don't know that any meat is contaminated or not. So to decontamination, can we use any of the disinfectant like the sodium hypochlorite? And the second thing is that what will be the contact time for that? It is just an accidental thing. What precaution can a customer can take?
I think I can answer it.
Okay.
Yeah, sodium hypochlorite. Normally, the sodium hypochlorite has been tested against most of the RNA viruses, and it was found very effective against most of the RNA viruses, sir. So it is normally used up to 200 ppm, especially sanitization of the surfaces, tiles, or floor. So 100 to 200 ppm or 0.5%. So you can do it, and the minimum contact time is 5 minutes for sodium hypochlorite to be effective. And again, it depends on the water pH and the water temperature, because sodium hypochlorite is very effective when the water pH is between 5.5 to 6.5, and the temperature of the water is around 25 degrees. So 5 minutes contact time, sodium hypochlorite, 200 ppm is very effective.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Navina. Hope all the queries have been answered. And tell me, Dr.
Sir, sorry to interrupt you. These are the scientific people we are discussing so many issues. We can invite, sir, one or two questions from the industry people also. There are
anybody. Now, slowly number of participants is going down. From 85, it has come to 63 now. If there is any industry person available in the participant, please, they can ask the questions. Anybody.
Akram bhai, Mr. Rizwan bhai.
Dr. Jinde, you can ask them to unmute and ask the question directly.
Okay.
They can directly ask.
Yeah.
Or any student want to ask any questions. Anybody.
Okay. ठीक है sir.
ठीक है.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Sunil?
Okay sir. ठीक है.
No. To Dr. Naveen or VV, is any work has done for the decontamination of the bacteria with the bacteriophages, surface decontamination?
Dr. Navina?
Because many times in the, I think in the industry also, there are, I come to know that some of these, they are using also bacteriophages to decontaminate the salmonella or anything.
I think I don't have the idea whether commercially people are using it correct. A lot of research is going on. Even in the public, I think sir might be knowing, even the public health department, Chennai Veterinary College and all, they're doing a lot of work on use of bacteriophages for the decontamination, but commercially or someone is really applying it, not much idea.
Can I answer on this?
Yes, please, Dr. Manish.
So, sir, Dr. Kulkarni, sir, we are in a Department of Livestock in our place. We are being working on the bacteriophages. Basically, presently we have initiated the work on these lines, and only 3 phases we are being working on. That's Salmonella, Listeria, and the E. coli phases and others. So we have used the cocktail of these 3 phases for the decontamination process. Also, we have used these phases incorporated into the edible films or the biodegradable films, and then the biodegradable films has been placed on the surface of the processed food products and others, and we have found a wonderful result on that one. And we have studied the activity of these bacteriophages for efficiency, how many days it is being maintained, and we have found that we are able to maintain the same efficiency even up to 30 days.
Okay. His question is, anybody in the industry is being using this thing? Have you tried it commercially somewhere?
In industry, they are not being using. In some of the places in US, we have procured some of the commercial Listex by the name of Listex. Trade name is being there. They are being selling the Listeria-based bacteriophages, and it is being used. But in Indian, none is using, and even in case of the many of the European countries have gone through, they are not using it.
No, you have a poultry processing plant in your department, no? Have you tried there?
No, we have tried for the decontamination process, as I mentioned you, that in the processed product also, as well as the raw foods also, both we have tried, but in a commercial practices, it's not being used over here.
Thank you so much. I think now it is almost 1 o'clock. I would like to invite my co-chairman, Dr. Vaskar, for any remarks if he has. Otherwise, we will hand over the session to the organizers. Dr. Vaskar, do you have anything to add?
Yes, I just want to thank both the speakers, especially Dr. Chetli as well as Dr. Navina, who has very highlighted on the very important or pertinent topics in the today's current scenario. Dr. Chetli very rightly has pointed out the 5 keys of the food safety. They're very pertinent. I think those 5 keys they have been followed by everyone. Take the hygienic meat production of the very safe food, as well as Dr. Navina. It was a very fantastic concept what he has put forth because that is one of the important aspects of the wet markets. The current scenario of as many of the industry people are here also, because nowadays because of the rapid industrialization, urbanization, many people wants that the chicken which has been in the presentable form, and whatever the concepts what here Dr. Navina has put up, I think the industry people can go forward, and this current change of the scenario of the wet market can be very well seen, so that the more and more people are attracted to that. Thank you both of them, Dr. Chetli as well as Dr. Navina. Thank you, sir. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Dr. Vaskar. Now, before I hand over the session to the organizers, just want to add 1 or 2 points. That somewhere, whenever so many webinars are being conducted, somewhere the policymaker should be in the loop. Otherwise, it is only it remains to scientific discussion. Especially Dr. Navina has given so many good solutions, where somewhere the policymakers like DDG or Vice Chancellor of the university or the state administration, somewhere they should be in the loop, or at least something should go to them. Then only maybe 1 or 2 points will carry to some policymakers and something could be done. That is one thing. Another is the integrated market concept. Actually, it started in Tamil Nadu, for the vegetable markets where they have common markets. They are in Tamil known as Ulavar Sandai, farmers market. Similarly, on that line, a slaughterhouse, and in front of that, we can have so many meat shop in one compound. So everything can happen. So that is also a very good concept for big cities. Another thing is leading by examples. All the meat science departments in our country should have a proper slaughterhouse. They should take proper measures in slaughtering the animals. They should have a very good quality sales counter, sell the product commercially. That is how people will see and they will adopt. So leading by example is also essential. With these few words now, I would again like to thank Dr. Jende and the entire team of this webinar, Dr. Paturkar, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Ranade, and everybody for making this happen. Very, very good scientific interaction took place. Thank all the speakers and people who have interacted also, all participants. Thank you so much. I hand over the mic to the organizing secretary.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor A.M. Paturkar, sir, was available for us with us for a very short while, and he is now again busy with other critical assignments. So he won't speak now. So I now request Dr. R.J. Jende, sir, PI, NAGP CAST, to please deliver the vote of thanks.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So thank you so much. It was very nice interaction with you all people and participants from the various industries and it. All the respected dignitaries, Colonel Dr. Professor A. Paturkar, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Chairman of the today's function, Dr. Prabhat Kumar Sir, National Coordinator, NHP CAST, ICR, New Delhi, the chief guest of today's function, Dr. Amish Sharma, Director Import, FSSI, New Delhi, is a guest of honor of today's function, Dr. A.P. Somko Sir, Director of Instruction and Dean at DI, Dr. N.V. Kurkure Sir, Director of Research, Dr. P.T. Jadhav Sir, Director of Extension and Dean Lower Education, Dr. V.V. Kulkarni Sir, Ex-Director, NRC Meet, Hyderabad, Dr. Bilegavkar Sir, our Executive Council member and Center in charge, IVRI, ICR, Pune, Dr. Sunil Kulkarni Sir, Dr. Satu Kulkarni Sir. These are the special guests for today's function. All eminent speakers, my friend, Dr. Chatli, Professor and Head, LPD, Gadwasu, Ludhiana, and Dr. Navina, Principal Scientist, NRC, Meet, Hyderabad. All the associate deans of the consulate colleges of the MAPSU, all the participants from the meat industry, students, our valued invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's my privilege to have been asked to present the vote of thanks for the webinar on hygienic meat production and processing under the NHP CAST project, that is Center of Excellence for Advanced Research on the Animal Food Safety, which is recently sanctioned by the ICR in March 2020. The first and foremost, I would like to thank and remain grateful to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Professor A. Paturkar Sir, for his kind words of the encouragement to all the research workers of the NHP and CAST. His able guidance, he has always encouraged us, and I thank him profusely for his kindness, his interest, and continued contribution and support while organizing such kind of the activities or the events under this NHP CAST. I also express my heartfelt thanks to chief guest of today's function, Dr. Prabhat Kumar Sir, National Coordinator, for his kind acceptance of invitation for gracing this function with his presence, and also thank for his suggestions, valuable guidance, and kind words. By hearing his address during this session today morning, he enlightened various research activities to be undertaken under this project. For example, like automation of the personal hygiene in slaughterhouses, small retail shops. Then what are the integrated small slaughterhouses can be developed under this project. So these are the inputs he has given in his address, and thank you so much for that, sir. I would like to thank our guest of honor, Dr. Amit Sharma, Director Import, FSSI, New Delhi. We has, despite his busy schedule and with very short notice, he has accepted our invitation and graced today's function. My heartfelt thanks to all the university authorities, all associate deans of the constituent colleges of the MAPSU, and all the faculties for their valuable contribution and guidance and encouragement in all our efforts. I am thankful to Dr. Kulkarni sir, ex-director NRC Meet, chairman of the today's function, Dr. V.S. Vaskar, professor at Department of VPH, KNP Shirma, as a co-chairman of the session, and Dr. V.H. Shukla, assistant professor, rapporteur, for conducting the session very smoothly and helping in arranging the event very successfully. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation for all the eminent speakers and express our sincere thanks to each one of them for giving an excellent coverage to their explanation of the topics of the hygienic meat production and processing. Special thanks to my friend Dr. Chakli and Dr. Navina for accepting our invitation with a very short notice and sharing their experience in the areas of the hygienic meat production and processing. As you know that this meat production has been shut down for 3 to 4 months for the domestic and for the export purpose. And these slaughterhouses, they generate a very large number of the employment for the rural youths, and also they protect the nutritional security to the consumers. So that is why they have covered the very deep experience for explaining how we can go forward for producing the meat by taking all the precautions at each and every stages of the production. Because like other industries, we can't work from home in a meat industries. We have to go to the slaughterhouses, abattoir, and produce a good hygienic meat by taking precautions, so that we can keep supply or maintain our supply chain for this supply of the wholesome and the hygienic meat to the human consumption. I'm sure the students, faculties of the MAPSU must have enriched their knowledge about these topics delivered by these two eminent speakers. We all are inspired by your great words. Thank you so much, these two eminent speakers. The special guest today, Dr. Bilegavkar sir, Dr. Sunil Kulkarni sir, Dr. Nasapurkar sir, Dr. Sadhu Kulkarni sir, for being with us this morning for this national webinar and spending your valuable time with us. I place on record the help and cooperation received from my all research team of the NHP CAST MAPSU project for the grand success of this event. I lastly, to all the participants from the meat industry, Mr. Rizwan, Mr. Bablu Sheikh, Mr. Akram Qureshi especially, and a person from the Devnar Abattoir officials, veterinary officers, and the state government veterinary officers, my student friends, for attending this function. Now I would like to officially declare this end of this event. I once again thank one and all. Thank you so much. Sona.
Thank you, Dr. Yende, for a very nice organization of the seminar.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you,
Kulkarni sir.
Thank you.
Thank you
Dr.
very much.
Yende.
Thank you, Dr. Chakli.
Dr. Ranade, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm leaving now because I have an online lecture immediately.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. ठीक है ये